What is up, Derek, 13 Series Engineering here, and today we're coming to you with a new video on live components, Symfony live components, where we're going to be using a search and filter part of live component, where you can use a repository. You can use the repository functions to filter through things in real time. And I know it's been a long time since I've made a video. I've been super busy. I know we're going to do this code along for this website here, but unfortunately I kind of just had to try and get this done, and I am almost done. I'll probably finish it in 2 days. So I haven't made a video for a while, and actually had a friend have an emergency. I'm down about an hour away from where I live, dog sitting for him, and I had to go visit some family in southern Utah this weekend as well. So I've had a pretty busy last week, so that's why no videos and why we didn't do all this code along stuff for this website. It's looking really good so far. There's I think a lot of this stuff would have been boring. It's been mostly just markup, SEO stuff, and those things are important, for sure. But it's important to go over a lot of those things. But I think a lot of it's kind of boring, and I would love to, do a crash course or go through some SEO things that are important, like JSON, LD JSON structures, or different things like that, or how to actually set up a website that sells something to get indexed well by Google, how to use, article tags and stuff like that. But maybe another time. That is what I did want to do this first time around, but what I want to make a video on is something way more interesting, which is this live filtering component. And if you look at Symfony UX live components, it's like the example that they give, where it's like a text-based filter, where they use this computed and then whatever the entity is to filter things. So that's pretty cool. And basically, you could just follow along with this example. It's not that hard, but what I really want to show is doing this without something in a database, which is super cool. We're going to use a repository, and we're going to do this all using text, because this is a really common thing, and this is what Symfony's a really cool thing you can do with Symfony is you can use twigs. You can iterate over different entities for paragraphs or just different things. You can take advantage of that to write way less markup, and just literally only write the content. So you can use, as a developer, you can use Symfony kind of like a CMS framework, which is pretty cool. Obviously, Symfony is what's used in Drupal. It replaced Yi, so that it's built for it. But we just type stuff in, and it gets filtered, and that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to essentially show everyone how to do this from a blank page. So we'll just make a sandbox URL. Obviously it's not working because we haven't built it yet. So that's the first thing I want to do is just put it in home, I guess. Oh, one thing I was meaning to check was caching and stuff. I had to just stop for a minute because I saw something I wanted to fix with caching. But anyways, we're gonna just make a test route here, just to demo this. Don't want to cache anything. Test. Okay, everything else is fine. We're basically going to show how they're doing this, but we are going to use doctrine, but we're not going to we're going to do things kind of a different way. And I think I'm going to do two like quick videos here. One is going to be just kind of showing what they did, or maybe we can put it all together in one video. We'll see how much time we got. But you can basically do this with the like text version or like buttons. So this is very handy for filtering anything or any type of complex component where you want to update like results in real time. You know, just for the sake of viewing stuff. So that, you know, could be like a table, chips or chits or whatever you want to call them, like little chips that get added to things, or badges, or in our case it's going to be text. But essentially, we're gonna do an example of like paragraph header, and I know that, or subheading or something like that, and I know that's not like super cool, but it is, you know, it is like a cool thing for like Wikipedia maybe or something like that. And it's a cool way to display website content, is to be able to, like, you know, what's really popular is you have a lot of articles, right? Because that's how you get good SEO, is good content, good articles about things, or like a recipe or whatever. And you know, you can scroll down to different parts, or there's A tags with a href to a different section that might be key information. But also you could use this to give the user the ability to like search for different paragraphs that contain the information they want on your site, and it will only display those paragraphs. So that's like a really handy way to do that, and it's kind of better than scrolling up and down the page with those, you know, back to top and href this section and stuff. It's just kind of a different way to do that. Obviously, there's a lot of code and other stuff involved in this. Not a lot. This is simple, but you know, compared to just an A tag. So for like simplicity's sake, it's definitely more involved. But if you are doing a Symfony website that has this type of content, it's definitely very handy. So anyways, let's see. Obviously this is just a little sandbox thing, so we are not getting into the weeds on a bunch of stuff. Just showing you guys how I did this. I thought it would be a cool video to do. This is for a FAQ page. We can just kind of forget about all that, I guess. Block, body, end block. Wow, I cannot type. Oh my gosh. End block. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna go main, and we're gonna say this is an article, and I'm not gonna worry about all the you know, all the stuff you should have for SEO in an article. That's kind of neither here nor there, but it's gonna bug me if I don't put this thing in there though. Cool. And then do our little background thing. And alright, and now basically cool. Okay. What should we write an article about? That is the question. What would be something good to do this with, where you'd have varying paragraphs? Maybe like, it doesn't have to be interesting. The point of this isn't the content. The point of it's the programming. But you know, my favorite movie that I actually just watched the other night for like probably the 8th time is The King, with Timothy Chalamet. It's about King Henry. It's a really cool story. Battle of Agincourt, and I don't know when that was, but like 1150 or 1400. But that was that's definitely one of my 1415. There you go. One of my favorite movies. There are some historical inaccuracies to the movie, but nonetheless, it's one of my favorite ones. So this is weird because it's a medtech, it's a healthcare website, but we're gonna do the battle, the Battle of Agincourt. which that's not how that's spelled either. And they do actually, or it's not how it's pronounced. Angicourt. That's not how it's said. It's they pronounce it like correctly in the movie in French. It's just in English you like, yeah. I don't know how you actually say Angicourt. Some people do say it like this. I've seen YouTube historians say Angicourt, but I know in French it's different. But cool. The other thing we're gonna do is we're not gonna have this. We're gonna have all of our content here, and this is gonna be. Oh, you know what? I was actually using live components the other day, and I forgot about the Twig, the new. We went over this in dry dock. The new components syntax. That's super cool. I used it like the like this way, with that like the PHP function instead of the cool the cool newfangled way to do it. I think they show that somewhere around here. Yeah, like this. I want to go and do that and see if it breaks stuff. So it might. What's my component called? Yeah. I always have issues with PHP Storm in this. I just like the syntax so much more. I think it's so much cooler. Yeah, it's like a I forgot what I did in the other repository to make that syntax work. I think I edited something in the project. Like that's totally valid to do that. It'll work. It just throws a fit. It's kind of like Blade does that syntax, which is cool. Oh man, I don't remember what I did. I gotta look it up though, because I want to use it. I remember what I did to fix this in dry dock because I just did it. I just turned off. It's because it's this not reading this syntax as HTML. It's reading it as XML, and that's why it's giving it an issue. So, oh gosh, I gotta change this because that's not gonna work because that's an HTML tag. Man, what can I make this? Type. That's fine. I'm just fixing this stuff up while I got you guys on the phone. Don't you worry about a thing. This is way cooler. I think it's worth it to just, you know, if you have a lot of XML and you do need those type of errors to bubble up for namespace unbound or different things, then probably you can't turn that off. But this is kind of unique, I guess, to PHP Storm interpreting this as XML versus HTML. And there is a GitHub thing that was open for this on May 3rd. So, you know, people are tracking it. You know, and eventually I'm sure that will get fixed at some point. But anyways, it is what it is for now. Some of this stuff's kind of new. A little experimental in different ways, but that's a good thing. It's fun. So I need to fix this because I changed ID to type. Don't need that anymore either. Cool. A little foreshadowing of what's going to happen in a minute here. But what we are going to do is Symfony console. I forgot what it is for make Twig component. I think it's just make Twig component. And this just couldn't be easier. Make Twig. It won't autocomplete, but that's okay. Component. I spelled something wrong. I'll just copy it. I don't think I spelled that wrong. Oh. You can't have any errors when you run console commands. I should know better. But that's where our component's going to go. Anyways, it's weird it's saying I'm missing that, because I actually just ran this before. That's how I generated the component. Weird. Okay, this is going to be, we're basically just displaying paragraphs that we're going to have in an array. So that, that's how we're doing this. So what type of component is this? This is like a content component, text, sure, text, content, component. We are getting very CMS-y with this. Yes, if this is live. Okay, I'm in the wrong project. That's why. Wow, that's embarrassing. Cool. Okay, now we can do this for real. That should have been a red flag as to why is none of this working. I didn't have like anything I need installed, but that's alright. Okay, because I was in the wrong project. That happens all the time to me. I always have so many different things running all the time. Cool. Okay. So much stuff. Gets really annoying. Text, content, component. Or why don't we just call this a paragraph component? Well, it's multiple paragraphs. So, text body component, sure. Or just like body component, yeah. I'm okay with that. Text body component. Yes, live component. Alright, cool. So we got everything we need. I'm not going to add these to GitHub because I don't, we're going to delete all this stuff in a minute here. Now we can add our Twig component though. Text body component, and that's how we're going to pass it. There's more options or keys or different things we could pass this to do a bunch of cool stuff, but we're not going to worry about any of those things right now. Here's what I'm going to do. This is all inside of a container already, so no container. We're just going to go like, I'm really not worried about a ton of stuff here because we are just doing, I'm going to just delete all this stuff later. It's just to prove a point. Let's see. For paragraph and paragraphs. I saw a funny thing the other day. There's only two hard things in computer science. One is naming, variables, and the other one is HTTP caching configuration. HTTP cache configurations. Or no, it wasn't that. Cache invalidating. HTTP cache invalidating and naming variables, those are only the two hard parts of computer science. That was a funny thing I saw. I think it on Symfony's docs the other day. That was really funny. Let's see. We'll just go like H2. We could pass this as an option. You know, what tag do you want this to be? We could just pass that. We could pass that through. There's just so many things we could do. But for right now, we're going to go kind of standard on all of this stuff. Text center. We'll just paragraph dot heading. And then paragraph dot text. Sure, why not? Let's make sure this is definitely left aligned because that looks better. Okay, cool. So this is basically, oh, you know what? I did make a mistake in here. You need to do this little trick. We need to use computed paragraphs. There's his packages. This is like if there's no search results, and we're just going to put no content matched query. Where does query come from? We're going to make that in a minute. That's what we are searching for. Okay, so this is what we need. We need query as a live prop in our live component, and then we need this as live prop. What else did they put? Writable true, I think, right? Yeah, live prop, writable true. Cool, too easy. I honestly actually don't know what all the live prop arguments are that you can add, but that's something I kind of want to get into. I've kind of just, for live components, got what I need to out of it. I haven't gone through everything. I don't know all the prop options. Kind of curious though. Advanced functionality. Yeah, there's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff you can do with this. I'm telling you, live components, and you could build a whole page that's a one live component, you know? And all these little things are other live, nested live components. There's just it's just a totally different way of doing things, and this is gonna like you're writing it all in PHP. This is gonna like replace React in Vue eventually at some point. That's what I'm predicting. It really is. It's really good stuff. So it's good to like get on board while you can, because it's just gonna be cool stuff. Just gonna be cool stuff. Now, query, because it's a bound. It's going to be a bound component. Anytime it changes, it will change any place in PHP, which is the coolest thing about live components. We're going to see some really crazy stuff that's going to be like, how the heck does this work in PHP? It's really just like if you use chart.js with PHP. You're writing PHP, but a lot of it's getting kind of converted into JavaScript. So that's essentially what we're going to see. So anyways, we got that part set up. Yes, this is all the stuff they did. Cool, okay. Then we need an input for search. We can't look at our page yet, unfortunately, because we need to actually make a doctrine entity to be able to do this stuff. I like that PHP Storm catches this. You do need a label for an input. It's not valid markup if you don't. ID. So cool. I like that it does that. form control, let's see, I should give this like a something. I don't know how that's going to look, but we'll find out eventually. Now, this is bound to query. There's no paragraphs coming back. And this is going to throw an error if I try to look at it, because we need this function, get paragraphs, for us. And we need the repo for these for paragraphs. Obviously, we don't have that. That's not a thing. So that's what we have to basically build out. And for this project, I don't have a database, and I'm not ever going to have a database for this website web app hybrid that I'm doing, because for HIPAA compliancy, you can't, you can obviously have a database and store things, but it's very strict on what you can and can't do as far as encrypting data at rest, encrypting data in transit, all these different things. I could go through all that, but there's no point, because we already have a data storage system to use with SharePoint, and that's what this website is going to leverage. It's going to use SharePoint as a data storage system, and so we're not going to have a database at all. It's going to help save us some money on hosting too. So if that's your case and you want to do something without a database, which is great, yes, I could just make a database, put a doctrine entity, and put all these doctrine entities into the database and hydrate them and all these things, but we can just hard code it, and it's like, well, in the database maybe it'd be easier to update the CMS stuff for it, because you could really build this out as a CMS. What we're doing, you could give the client a portal to go into and change text in different places, and you're building them their own CMS, but that's not the point. I'm not trying to build a CMS here. What I am trying to do is just use PHP to write stuff so I can write less markup, essentially. Did I spell that right? I did. Because we haven't done it yet. So yeah, I'm not trying to invent my own CMS. I am just literally writing stuff in PHP classes and objects instead of in markup and being static. So that's a cool way to do that, and you get to do some cool stuff with data this way. Anyways, now we need an entity. Symfony console make entity. Oh my gosh. Entity. There we go. Right, you're just throwing fits. I hate that you can't do console commands if you have bugs, because it's like it's in a different part of the system. It's not even related. Okay, this is a paragraph entity. No, we don't care about turbo for this. We need heading and text. So heading, that's going to be a string. Yep. No, it can't be. But it doesn't matter because we're not using the database. Text, and that is going to be a text field. No. Cool. All right, we're done. That was super easy. And now we have our paragraph entity, and we have our paragraph repository. The entity isn't what we care about so much. It is the repository that we're going to focus on. Obviously, this is used with the entity manager to interact with everything, but we're not going to use any of that stuff. We're not going to have a database connection at all. I think it's going to throw a fit that we're going to have to fix. But you can do this stuff. You can use a repository and entities and all that without a database. You just have something underneath it to basically get you data. And so that's the next thing we're going to do, is we're going to do a paragraph service. And if you look at my FAQ service, all it does, there isn't even a constructor, it just returns entities of whatever. We're just basically populating stuff in memory. So this is, this is going to be a singleton. It's only going to happen one time. Whoa. the camera just went blur blur. Is that better? That's alright. You guys don't need to see me. So what did I call this and the whole FAQ thing? We'll just call it get paragraphs. And this is going to return an array, and we could do this as a collection too. But we're going to do it as an array of paragraphs. And we're going to tell PHP that that's what we're doing. Cool. Okay. New paragraph, and one other thing I'm going to do is, oh, don't want that. I'm going to mess with the constructor here, which we don't have one, but we're going to make one. And now this is like, you can just do this in vanilla PHP, but I'm going to do, I'm going to make this take a string heading, and I'm going to take a string text, and obviously you can tell what I'm doing. So on construct we have all our stuff. This just makes life a little easier. There we go. That should be everything we need. Paragraph service, new paragraph is just going to take 2 arguments, heading and text. Cool. And then we're just going to make like 10 of these. And then, just for the sake of time, we're going to go to ChatGPT, and we're going to be like, write me on the Battle of Agincourt with headings. Cool. Alright, this is, I was kind of hoping for a little more. I'm not the best at ChatGPT stuff, but we're just gonna blah blah blah, copy paste all of these things. Oh, and I'm gonna have to escape some. Alright, there we go. Apologize because the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds of me doing this is going to be painful. Oh, I didn't even copy the right stuff. I'm just going to pause the video and do this so you guys don't have to watch. Alright, all that's done. Good thing you guys didn't have to sit through that. That's probably painful. But, okay, we got our service. Now we're going to go through our repository here. And I need something to, if you look at the question repository, I have this filter function, and that's kind of what we have to write, is a filter function. And we're just going to take the query string, and it's allowed to be null. And if is set, and if query does not equal dot used to JavaScript. Then we're going to filter. If not, we're going to just return. How did I do that? Right, this is returning an array. of questions. Oh yeah. Obviously we need to auto wire this, or not, we need to inject it. Paragraph service. There we go. Cool. Okay. We got our paragraphs. If none of that stuff's set, we're just going to return the paragraphs, and that's it. If they are set, then, and now this isn't like some Google search algorithm or some, like, there's a lot of stuff you could do. You could add autocomplete to this. You could add a ton of stuff. This is just pretty simple. The way I'm actually going to do this in production is going to be like basically like this. It's just a simple kind of like widget. It's not a very advanced, oh, you searched for this. Well, here's synonyms too. Maybe you're interested in those. It's not like that. Should it be? Yes. Yes, it should be. But it isn't. And the example I have on production, there's like 20 FAQs to filter through, or 16 or whatever. So, it doesn't need to be that advanced. We can modify it over time and make it a little better, but for now, it's okay. So we just are going to do an array filter on this, and we could do a collection in Doctrine. There's a lot of different things we could do. This is just a simple way to do this. Doctrine collection filter. Doctrine collection filters are basically you're going to get something kind of similar. It essentially it works like an array, but you can be a little more specific. You can be a little more specific on like the key value things that you're filtering on. Array collection. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. You just kind of have to implement it. Doctrine's not bad to use professionally. It's just not as off the shelf as Eloquent is in Laravel. So, there's just some, your mileage may vary as long as you can do all this stuff. It's really not that different from Eloquent when you set it up correctly. But there you go. Expressions, I'm pretty sure there's like, less than, greater than, is, and all this stuff. So there's a ton of value, a ton of ways to do this. If we wanted to make this a little more intuitive and more responsive, we'd use some of them, but we are just doing it basically. PHP string contains the same thing I wrote before. If the paragraph heading or body, we should probably have called it body instead of text, but that's alright. Makes sense to me. Should probably call it body, but whatever. If it contains either the text or the heading contains it, then include it. True or true, you know? Just needs to be one of these. So basically that's it for filter. That's all we need to do. Oh, not that. Yeah, super easy. Mine has a few extra things because I have some different stuff going on, but basically that's it. And then if we look at our this thing, this is the only thing we need to do here. Super easy. So when query changes, it changes its value everywhere, essentially. So it's gonna like re-filter this, and this needs to be computed. Cool. And that's basically like what this means that get paragraphs is going to be called for computed. That's what that means. Is that's like the result, not something from a live prop. So that's basically it. Let's see what issues we got. I don't like that. Justify content center. Better. Don't super care about making this responsive or look pretty. We are just proving a point here. Cool. All right, that's a little better. This doesn't look great, but it's searching. I do seem to have a few issues. Obviously this isn't like filtering great, but what if I just search? Oh. Unfortunately, like, yeah, it's just not, there's just some stuff we got to adjust, you know, with like case, being case insensitive, but you can see this is like, you know, if you messed with this enough, then you could get the right thing. But we can add filters. This is a text way of doing this, is by searching, but we could do this in like a button way, essentially. And people that are already using it, they wouldn't really probably get that this is a live component like this, but it's just another way to do it that's super simple and super easy to repeat. Like we can change the data for this, and it kind of all stays the same. And basically, just to do that, the only thing you would really need to do is in this component is that instead of data binding to a query, you would just essentially have a button action, and the button clicks would update it. So let's see, Symfony. Components button action. No, didn't mean to click on that. Twig component, that's what I meant. Maybe that's part of live components. Data binding. Where are you? Actions, there we go. Cool. Live action, that's what we need. And you could just pass an event to this. Or pass a parameter. Oh. Let's see. Arguments. Right, okay. Live argument. And then in our component, instead of doing that, we can just go button longbow. Cool. Almost done. Data action name. Yep. This thing. Oh, and the actual data action. Yeah. Filter. And query. Oh, that's just supposed to be action. I knew that. Ha! Just kidding. This is supposed to be filter. And I don't know if this needs to be escapes like that. I don't think it does. With the quotes for being a string. I think it's okay. It just gets typed. And that's fine. Cool. Okay. Wow, that's horrible. There we go. Okay. Oh, I know what I did. Lazy typing. It's like, why is that looking like that? Cool. Okay, so if we click longbow, then it just shows the longbow one. So you gotta have a bunch of different like keyword filters or different things, but there's a bunch of ways to do this. You could even add these keywords like little chips in there one at a time. And then you could have those like filter all the stuff. This is great if you have a ton of content. But basically, that's it. That's how to do their just out-of-the-box search component without a database, just using content. We took a repository, we added this filter function, which does a basic just string contains PHP function. It doesn't check lower uppercase, so we should probably fix that. We could use doctrine collections instead to filter this stuff, and it might be better. And then we have our text bodies, or our paragraph service that literally just initializes and contains all of these paragraphs, and this will happen on bind to the service container, so it only happens once. It's not happening every time. So that's super easy. And then the paragraph entity is it's just a PHP class. Yeah, it's a doctrine entity, but it's just a PHP class. We don't have to use a database at all. I don't have a Docker database running for this project at all. So that's it. That's a really cool way to write all this content. And of course, we can add little things to it to make this a little better, but that's a really cool way to do this stuff and not really write a lot of markup. I wrote this. We have this Twig component, and that's like so little markup to get you know a lot of stuff. And I should probably have like a clear button, but not too worried about that now. But anyways, you can integrate that and kind of build out your own CMS thing in a ton of different ways. Super cool. But thanks for checking out. I'll try to put another video up about something even cooler as soon as I can. I will catch you guys next time.